Hello and welcome to Rise Above the Grind. I am Alyssa Bakar, your hostess, the consultress, bringing you amazing conversations from big level thinkers. Today I have Bambi Thompson with me, and she works with spiritual entrepreneurs in the field of energetics because that is what we bring to the table in our businesses that make the strategic part actually go, work better. And so if you're building something based on quicksand, you're not going to be able to scale and you're going to wind up frustrated. So, Bambi Thompson, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me.
I thank you. I mean, listen, we were like click aligned from the first time we ever had a phone call. So, I'm really interested to bring your philosophy and how you think to the world here. So, tell us, how do you define the term grind?
Oh boy. Well, I have definitely a very different definition of grind, I think, than most people do. Um, so the grind for me is struggling against the energetic creation of my mind. Yesterday I did a workshop about quantum entanglements, and what I learned, I was born wired to worry. So I have a brain that's really good at being the monkey mind and throwing like crazy BS at me all the time. I have to discern that. So um, for a long time, I was very much the victim of that, and it landed me in debilitating panic disorder. And a lot of it was worrying about money. Money is a big part of where we all have a lot of energetic entanglements. You look at the news, you get entangled, meaning when you watch something or read something and there is like oh in your body, you just nailed an entanglement. And so for me, the grind is when the atoms of me, the who I am, my soul, are matching and mixing with something that's very low level, low frequency, fear, struggle, scarcity, limitation. I'm not worthy. I don't know what I'm to charge. All the things that we have in our lives as entrepreneurs, and also other people's judgments.
Ooh, ouch. I mean,
Right. Yeah. And it's like that came out in the conversation the other day of, well, I'm really responding to, I show up a different way when I'm in the presence of a different person because you're entangled in their monkey mind, their vibration of their thinking. Everything I do is energetic. So and the other piece that is the grind for all of us that we really don't recognize and we don't talk about is that we are energetically entangled with past identities that we're trying to break free of.
oh,
Keep,
can I
yeah,
just hear for one sec? Because like you're dropping so much. I just want to make sure it's not flying by everybody. Because I heard, I'm gonna start where we are. Past identities. That can be your ethereal past, like past lives, if you're into that stuff. It can also be who you were. It can be who you were when you were five. It could be who you were when you were a teen. It can be who you've ever identified yourself with as a whole, because as we grow those things change, but the ideas that formed them don't go away. And I
exactly.
also heard that grinding against the things that are, you can label, name them, like scarcity, fear. So when I hear you saying about the grind itself, for you, it feels like that shows up when there is a competition for priority in terms of which way you're going to grow. Are you going to expand and grow, or are you going to shrink and stuck and get stuck? So
Right.
I hear a very powerful decision in how you're defining the grind, because it allows you to be present to a decision point, no?
Correct, 100%. So really what I teach my clients is how to recognize, oh, I'm attached, there's an entanglement happening here.
Mhm.
Um, and to then pull their energy out of that entanglement. It is very woo what I do, but
Yeah.
there's also a lot of brain science with it. I'm all about brain training, and that's part of the work that we do. But being able to pull your energy out, and then here's the thing: like we all talk about meditation and breath work and EFT and access consciousness. There's a ton of tools that I use, but the ultimate purpose of all of these things is to bring us back to our true self. And our true self is really amplified and potentized when we go to silence.
Oh,
because in the silence is where infinite potential is. The law of infinite potential. There's so many universal laws that we're all working with very ignorantly. We don't know that we're working with them, but they are at play. And so when we're trying to do the 3D tactical, the old school paradigm of hustle culture, that's very 3D. And I teach 3D skill sets in my Inner CEO Alchemist Club because you have to do action, right? But what I really lead with and what we talk way more about is the 4D and the 5D, and the 4D being more that emotional frequency. And then the 5D is where you're really going quantum. And
so listen, we could take this and like crack it wide open and have a full workshop, but I think what I'm wondering, and I think what some of the audience members might be thinking at this point is like, that's nice. And I want to hear like that 3D realm is where we all are presently. And I love how you've defined that grind is that the hustle culture that's kind of garnered our attention for a century or three. And this is the assumption that we're all kind of growing from at this point. So I want to just dial it back because this is a huge body of work that you've developed on exactly how to extricate yourself from your habitual patterns that keep you stuck. And when did you realize in your personal evolution and your evolution as an entrepreneur that you experienced this? Because usually, I mean, I know you to be aligned. We teach that which we have already come through and learned. So bring us in. How did you become aware that there was opportunity for you to grow because you were having an experience that was either not your ideal or was painful for you?
I can tell you exactly. I can see myself sitting on the floor in front of my sofa, having a full-blown panic attack. When I had panic disorder, I was panicking pretty much, I'll say 23/7. It was a lot. And the experience that I had was I got so freaking sick of being in a panic, anxious state that I just said, stop. And I literally saw a hand like in my body pressing down the anxiety, and it stopped. And then boom, I got re-entangled with who I thought I was, which was a woman with mental illness and anxiety, right? So I got re-entangled, and bam, there was the anxiety. And I went, oh, holy shit, I stopped it. Let me do it. Let me see if I can do it again. And I did it again. And now, because I was in such a severe state of anxiety chronically, I had a watch and I started playing with timing. How long could I turn off the anxiety in my body? And I started experiencing, wait a minute, I'm in control. This thing is not in control. And so as I started working with people and sharing my experience, but also talking about what I was experiencing in my body when I was talking to others, because I am an intuitive, I am a healer, so I can energetically tap into other people's frequencies and shift them for them. I started having that experience of like working with a friend who had cancer, and I would be her chemo buddy, and I would go do chemo, and I would talk about what I was feeling in my body. And she's like, how do you know that? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said, exactly what you're describing is what's happening for me right now. And I'm like, whoa, okay, well, if I've shifted myself in the past, why don't I try to shift what I'm feeling now? And I would shift it and it would change with them. That right there is a quantum entanglement, because
Mm.
I was entangled with her energy and I could change her energy.
So this brings up some really core and fundamental attributes to how we approach the world at large and how we feel that we can make a difference for others. And it really does, to me, remind me of that go first principle. If I can change for myself in and of my own accord, and I am sovereign in making decisions to step outside of this comfort zone that I feel entrapped by, or outside of this feeling of unworthiness, or this feeling of I have big goals and I'm never going to get there, whatever that is, if I can bring myself center to know that one step at a time and I don't have to see the whole staircase. I just have to see the next step and keep moving. If I can do that for myself, I can train other people to do it for themselves, but I can also help them experience it. I think that's the thing I'm listening to you say about helping people transcend this grind is like, look, I've done it for myself, and empathetically, I can talk with you and train ourselves to the same frequency, and I can step you into that. And when I'm gone, you might rubber band back, but then I can teach you how to do this for yourself. So you're actually teaching a sovereignty of sorts. So when you
Yeah.
paint this forward for your clients, paint us a picture again, tell us a story of, a situation where you find people typically mired, where you can identify, aha, I have something that can change and help them. And then how do you leave them? Like, what is the result and transformation that they are able to achieve? Bring us in a little bit.
So, very basic fundamental stuff is we talk money all the time in our sessions in the club, because money is a very huge piece of why people feel anxious and stressed, right? And their insecurity and their self-worth and all the things that are tied in with that. So as I teach them how to disengage from these entanglements, from these beliefs, from these stories, and the energetic frequencies of that, the first step is always that you are going to feel more calm and peaceful despite what you're witnessing,
Mm,
since we're talking money, in your financial life. Okay, that's the first
truth,
sign that
truth.
you are shifting your vibration, your wealth frequency. All right. So there's lead indicators and lag indicators.
Oh, I love this.
The lead indicator is you begin to feel in control of your emotional state despite looking at a zero balance in your bank account. Okay, so that's like, oh, cool, I'm winning because I'm starting to feel calm. As long as I'm feeling anxious, then I must bring in more anxiety provoking experiences because of laws of universal laws. Law of attraction is the most common one, but there's, we continually regenerate our experiences because we are regenerating the fearful thoughts. So if you can learn how to change your brain, and we do that through brain training activities and various workshops and things, then you're changing your frequency. You're going to change the thing. The lag indicator, and this is what everybody's got to understand with money. You're
This is
saying
why I
it's
love you.
working because you're not seeing the money, but man, you're blowing it because you're saying it's not working. Bam, you just stopped the universe from delivering,
Yep,
right? The lag indicator is the money. It's
that's
the
right.
last thing that's going to show up.
Oh,
So you have to know how to stay in faith. We talk a lot about patience in my club. We talk a lot about faith, believing in the process before you see the result. And you have to believe first, and you have to embody and be in alignment before you're going to see the result.
oh, I could kiss you. Yes, this is exactly the mechanism, the tool that we've been given here and now in today's age of disruption is
Yeah.
leading it. Listen, my degree is in economics. I got this degree over 20 years ago, and I've been watching the abstract. And what you're describing is true for everything. I
Mm-hmm.
put myself out as love. I receive someone who I can love. I put myself out as courageous, even though I don't necessarily feel it in that moment. And the more I show up in that courage, the more proof I get of it. It's like, parking lot science is a real thing. It's like, oh no, I lost my keys in a giant dark parking lot. Well, where are you looking? Where were you? Oh, I'm looking only where the light spots are. Well, did you
Right.
lose it in a light spot? No. Well, if you're only looking where you can see and you're not taking the whole picture into an account, like, you're missing it. And that's what I think you're getting at with the
Yeah.
energetics, is like, that is the whole playing field, is
Yeah.
going to the feelings first and living in the faith of what you're creating creates the results, which is what creates
100%.
economy. Things
Yeah.
Economy didn't exist before the idea of barter and trade. Back before economy was a thing, everyone lived in a collective society and they shared all the resources. But in order to make more equitable use of those resources, economy came into play. Well, how did that happen? Well, you can't trade 2 sheep for 7 gold bars unless someone needs 7 gold, is in need of those sheep, and
Correct.
that is worth that. Like, economy, money is just a concept. It's a shared store of value. And so if you can break the paradigm of I need money to identify myself as successful and flip it around, like, you've just broken the paradigm and unlocked the keys to freedom. So Bambi, I appreciate the beginning and end of this, like, inquiry around grind and how people can transcend. If people want to find you and learn more about you and what you've got going on, where should they go?
Yep. So my website is bambithompson.com. It's BAMBITHOMPSON.com. I'm on LinkedIn. I've eliminated all the other platforms. Why? Because they were energy sucks. They were, they were entanglements for me. I didn't want
There
that.
you go.
And if you're really interested in getting a little flavor of how I work, you want to grab my aligned action activator. So bambithompson.com/aligned hyphen activator, and you'll be able to move some molecules with me in that
Oh,
process.
brilliant. I have loved this conversation. We are now going to go to our live VIP studio mastermind. If you are listening to this on the broadcast, don't stop now. We've got another amazing guest lined up for you right after this. Don't go away.